Well, hi, this is Custom Works, and I'm Clint Allen. In today's Tech Talk, we're going to discuss one of the overlooked items when you have runability issues. And normally what happens is the same scenario because everybody hits the old interweb and they're like, well, you know, geez, I replaced the IPR, I replaced the ICP, I replaced the cam sensor, looked at the wires, and it still runs the same poor way. I have problems with idling, I'm losing horsepower, I've got white smoke, got black smoke. One of the things, and some have even have gone as far as rebuilding the injectors and still have the same issue when they were looking right at the problem. Now, this is not a common problem, but it's not rare either. Had the valve covers open, you're pulling out them injectors, did anybody bother to look at the valves, the rocker arms, the push rods? No. A lot of times these trucks show up at the shop, the parts cannon was just boom, shot off. Everything in the vehicle is darn near brand new. Most of them are all Ford products. Every once in a while we do run into some aftermarkets, and by the way, there are some Ford approved aftermarket items, and I'll get into that in a different video. But you need to take a look when you're having a runability issue and you've done everything on the exterior. You need to take a look at your valves. A lot of times what is going to happen is that you've got this very small ball bearing right here, and that sets in right here. Then you have your rocker, and of course that ball sits right in here. And over time that wears out. Also, where the connector is, that can wear out, and this right here that pushes the actual valve down can wear out over time. It's real simple. Pull off that valve cover, and now of course I don't have the pressure of these on here, but these shouldn't be much more loose than that. They should all be generally tight. If you run across one that does this, you've got a problem either in the cam, which once again is rare. There was some time where a few of their cams did have delamination problems, but that you'll be able to figure out by taking this apart. You could have a simple issue where this pin right here on the roller, that could have worn out. Once again, rare, but does happen. These right here, these little clips can become worn out. And right here, this is a solid base that holds that all together, but these right here can be shimmed. But you really need to take it to a professional in order to have that done. That's just not a in-house, in your garage kind of thing. But either which way, you need to inspect each and every one of these. Make sure that they're snug, once again, not completely loose. And if you do find one that is excessively loose, we got to get in there with the old peepers. First thing to check is your push rod. And this push rod does have an issue. Probably hard to see on camera. I'll get a close-up of this. But this right here is bent. And this right here comes from hard starting during the winter time when you don't plug your truck in, or you've changed the injectors and you didn't follow my injector series and how to do the startup properly, you will bend these. The ends also can wear out over time. Once again, inside here and that little ball bearing, that can all wear out over time. So when you have a runability issue and you fired the parts cannon at it, you need to get in there, move those valve covers off, and check that valve train. Make sure everything is good. Make sure these are all tight. Get in there, shake each every one of them, make sure everything is tight, solid, and then you have eliminated one of the issues. Then you have to go on and check what you have not gone over yet. And we have a couple videos that really get into, even though it's the basics, but step by step on going through your 7.3 to figure out what the issues are. And if you're new here, by the way, come on and join the community. Down in the description below, I have put all the playlists and the playlists of all the sensors that are on a 7.3. Find out what they are, where they're located, can you test them, what do they do. We have all of our tech talks, all of our hands-ons, all of our other videos, our debunking videos, all down in the description, easy for you to find. But back to this right here. When International built this, it is actually a pretty slick system. They didn't fart around with having to adjust the lash of every one of these lifters, every one of these arms, every one of those rockers, whatever you want to call them, whatever part of the country that you're from. What they did is set it up so it is a solid base working system. But it does, once again, wear out. And we'll take a closer look at these right here. So once again, you have the pedestal right here. You have the ball bearing that sets in here. That slides up. And then you have this clip right here. So taking a closer look at this, we just pop that off the bottom. Slowly remove it. Now we don't want to drop that ball bearing down into the engine. So if it's your first time doing it, make sure you have a little magnet, and before you pull it off of there, just attach that magnet to the side and then up and out. That way you don't lose the ball down into the head. So I'll show you that right here once again. So here's the second option if you're worried about losing the ball. Crack these loose. This is a number 8. They get retorqued to 22 to 28 foot-pounds. You do not want to over torque these because they will break. And then you're sitting on the side of the road. So go ahead, just lift the whole unit out. Then all you got to do is just take a type of a pick screwdriver, pop that off, lift up, pull out, and there we go. So go ahead and inspect this for any type of cracks, or if these pieces right here have broken off. Check your ball bearing, make sure it doesn't have any flat spots or cracks. Check your rocker arm inside where the ball bearing goes, where the push rod goes, where the valve top is. Make sure that they don't have any cracks, chips, excessive wear. But in this particular case, this right here was the problem. You can see it as it rolls. It's got a really light warp in it, and that was the issue on this particular engine, on this guy's engine. The runability problem comes into play that if any of these are worn down or bent, worn to the point where the valve is going to, you know, as the cam is coming around and lifting up that valve, if it's doing it late and then closing early, you're going to have horsepower loss, you're going to have white smoke, black smoke, you're going to have an engine that just constantly vibrates all the time because it's just off a little bit. And that is what's causing some of the issues in some of the 7.3s. Once again, it is rare, but it does happen. If you find yourself where you have got just one that has worn out, probably the best idea is just make sure everything else is handled, is tight, and just order from Ford the items that you need to fix that one particular one. If you find yourself with more than two, it's time to pull that head off, send it in for a complete redo, get everything brand new, everything handled. The beauty of this is, even though the head weighs like 130, 40 pounds, and she's a bear to get out of there, you'll be able to go ahead and put in new lifters. They're not that expensive. The new push rods, and you'll really have a good running motor if you have one of these issues inside the head. So I hope you've learned something today, and you take it easy and you have a good day.